Welcome back to our channel, where we explore the most compelling true crime stories from around the globe. Today, we're diving into another tragic and heart-wrenching case. This is the tragic case of Karen Buckley. Karen Buckley went to a nightclub with her friends and never made it home. Born in 1991 in Cork Island to John and Marion Buckley, she was the youngest of 4 children and the only daughter. Karen graduated from St Mary's Secondary School in Mallow, where she was known for her kindness and willingness to help others. This caring nature influenced her career choice. After secondary school, Karen studied nursing at the University of Limerick. Her interest in occupational therapy then took her to Glasgow, Scotland, where she pursued a master's degree at Caledonian University. Karen moved to Glasgow in January 2015 and shared an apartment with 3 other new female students. On April 11, 2015, she and her roommates visited a nightclub about 2 kilometres from their home. Arriving around 11:45 p.m, they were having a great time when, at about 1 a.m, Karen informed her friends that she was going to the restroom and would return shortly. She took her bag but left her jacket on the table where they were sitting. Her friends continued having fun in her absence. Eventually they noticed Karen had been gone for a while and should have returned by then, but she hadn't. They searched the club for her, but she was nowhere to be found. Attempts to reach her by phone also failed. Karen's friends thought she might have gone home, despite it being odd that she didn't inform anyone and left her jacket behind. Upon returning home, they realised their assumption was wrong. Karen wasn't there either. The only thought that came to their minds was that she might have met someone at the club and left with him. With this thought in mind, the girls went to bed and woke up around noon. Karen's neighbours were surprised to see she still hadn't returned, and further attempts to reach her by phone were unsuccessful. She hadn't responded to messages on social media or logged into any of her accounts. Although her friends had only known her for a few months, they knew this behaviour was unusual for her. Instead of trying to reassure themselves with another explanation, they reported her disappearance to the police and informed the Buckley family of what had happened. The Scottish police deserve recognition for promptly initiating the search for Karen. Her disappearance was reported in the media, and her parents made public appeals for anyone with information to contact the authorities. Detectives obtained surveillance footage from the club where Karen was last seen. Upon reviewing it, they discovered that she had been in contact with an unidentified man. This discovery was made 36 hours after she went missing on April 13th. The identity of the man was determined and he was brought in for questioning. The young man, named Alexander Pacteau, was 21 years old. He admitted to meeting Karen that night and taking her to his apartment on Dorchester Avenue, about 3 kilometres from the club. He also revealed that they had been intimate around 4 a.m. He continues saying Karen chose to leave and head home despite Alexander's offer for her to stay until morning. Before proceeding, I'd like to share an important message with everyone. We've been exerting our utmost effort to produce top-notch content on our channel. Despite our dedication over a considerable period, we're yet to reach our initial goal of 1,000 subscribers, with 97% of our viewers yet to subscribe. Therefore, we kindly ask you to consider subscribing to our channel if you enjoy our content. Alexander also mentioned that during their encounter, Karen had accidentally hit her head on the corner of the bed, causing a wound and leaving marks on the sheets. This information prompted a mixed reaction from the police. On one hand, Pacteau appeared to be open and honest, while on the other hand, he seemed to be anticipating the police's findings and preemptively explaining what they might discover if they searched his apartment. On April 13th, the same day, a man contacted the police to report that he had found a woman's purse. Upon investigation, it was discovered that he had found it in a park near Alexander Pacteau's residence, and it belonged to Karen. The purse contained her phone and documents. This discovery made Pacteau's account of events seem more plausible, suggesting that something might have happened to Karen after she left his apartment. Meanwhile, the search for Karen intensified, with hundreds of police officers scouring parks, forests, bodies of water and abandoned buildings in hopes of finding any clues that could aid the investigation. At this stage, Alexander Pacteau was the only suspect in the police investigation, being the last person seen with Karen. Although investigators kept his name and details confidential, news of the search of his apartment leaked to journalists 2 days after Karen's disappearance. Reporters from a newspaper interviewed other residents of the building, which led to Pacteau's name becoming public. When the police executed a search warrant for Pacteau's apartment, they were immediately struck by a strong smell of bleach and noticed that the mattress did not fit the bed frame properly. Small dark red spots were found on the bed and in the bathroom, with samples sent for testing. The apartment also contained a box of tools and a large quantity of cleaning supplies. A police dog trained to detect bodies indicated a scent near Pacteau's car. While awaiting a search warrant for the vehicle, detectives discovered that Alexander Pacteau had recently had his car cleaned at a detailing shop, though the service seemed subpar. During the vehicle search, the same dark red spots were found on the inside of the passenger door, and samples were sent to the lab. As new evidence mounted, suspicions increased that Karen might not be alive, but the search for her continued with the same intensity. Journalists managed to reveal the suspect's name, and the next day, a photograph of Alexander Pacteau appeared on the front page of a newspaper. Surprisingly, this media exposure proved beneficial for the investigation. A man who saw Pacteau's photo in the paper contacted the police, offering valuable information. He mentioned that he had worked with Alexander in the past and knew that Pacteau rented a warehouse on a farm outside Glasgow. The farm was located about 9 kilometres from Pacteau's apartment. The police followed up on this lead, and the farm owner confirmed that Pacteau rented a storage space from him for £10 a week. In the storage space, authorities discovered a 200-litre drum containing Karen's body, which had been dissolved in caustic soda, a highly reactive alkaline substance capable of dissolving organic materials. They also found a bonfire with remnants of a mattress that Pacteau had attempted to burn. On April 15th, Alexander Pacteau was arrested as a suspect in Karen Buckley's case. Faced with substantial evidence against him, Pacteau confessed to being responsible for Karen's death. However, Pacteau claimed he acted in self-defense. Based on the evidence collected by the police and Pacteau's testimony, an approximate timeline was constructed for the days surrounding Karen's death and Pacteau's efforts to cover his tracks. On the night of April 11th, around 1 a.m, Karen left the club. The reason for her departure remained unclear, as her friends reported no argument and she had mentioned she would return after going to the bathroom. Even if Karen decided to go home for some reason, it was still puzzling why she left her jacket behind. Officers assigned to the case reviewed a total of 1,900 hours of surveillance footage. One of the recordings showed Karen encountering Pacteau after leaving the club. Following a brief conversation, they walked together towards the location where his car was parked. It is believed that Pacteau offered to drive Karen home, but once they were in the car, he attacked her. Pacteau struck Karen 14 times on the head with a large wrench, as a result of which she died in his car. The dark red stains found in Pacteau's car were confirmed to be dried drops of Karen's blood, matching the stains found in the bathroom and on his bed. After disposing of Karen's body, Pacteau began planning his next moves. He first discarded Karen's purse, which was later recovered and given to the police. Around 2 a.m, he returned home and took actions that greatly surprised detectives. He transferred Karen's body from the car to his apartment. By 8 a.m, he used his phone to search for information about caustic soda. Later, he went to a shopping centre and bought 6 litres of caustic soda, along with a respirator and gloves. Feeling that 6 litres might not be sufficient, he stopped at another store on his way home to purchase additional caustic soda. Upon returning to his apartment, Pacteau placed Karen's body in the bathtub and began attempting to dispose of it. Since his neighbour was expected home around 8 p.m, Pacteau realised he wouldn't have enough time to complete the process. He removed the body from the bathtub, wrapped it in a blanket and hid it in his bedroom. The following day, April 13th, he threw a wrench into a river, which was later recovered by divers. Pacteau then went to a shopping centre about 1.5 miles from his home, where he consulted a sales associate for advice on a product that could remove bloodstains from a mattress. He also purchased 2 padlocks. On the same day, he transported Karen's mattress, bedding and clothes to a farm, where he burned them all. On his way home, Pacteau purchased a barrel for later use to dispose the body. Around 2 p.m, He took the barrel to a rented warehouse, filled it with the remaining caustic soda, locked the gate with the 2 padlocks he had bought, and then returned home. At 6 p.m, the police visited him at his residence and took him in for questioning. Although Pacteau confessed to his involvement, his motive remained unclear. He claimed that he had killed Karen in self-defense during a dispute in the car, but investigators were skeptical of this explanation, viewing it as an attempt to justify his actions. The police suspected that Pacteau might have been covering up another crime by killing Karen and disposing of her body. However, due to the advanced state of decomposition, experts were unable to confirm whether Karen had been subjected to violence before her death. In September 2015, Alexander Pacteau was found guilty and sentenced to life imprisonment, with the possibility of parole after 23 years. Through his lawyer, Pacteau apologised to the Buckley family, expressing remorse for his actions. He told his defence attorney that he was too intoxicated on the night of the incident to recall why he had killed Karen. It is worth noting that had he not pleaded guilty, he would have faced the possibility of parole after 25 years rather than the 23 years he received by pleading guilty. Additionally, the Q Crime channel offers numerous other captivating cases for you to explore. Don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on notifications to stay updated with Q Crime Story videos every day. Farewell for now, and we eagerly anticipate your presence in our future videos.